Next up, we'll talk to former Florida State Seminole and New York Jet linebacker Marvin Jones. So stay with us, folks. My next guest, a former middle linebacker in the National Football League for 11 seasons during the 90s and early 2000s. Played college football, of course, for the Florida State Seminoles at FSU. Was recognized as an All-American twice there. Was drafted in the first round of the 1993 NFL Draft by the New York Jets, where he played his entire professional career. That's where we know him best. I welcome to Sports Talk 1240 tonight, Marvin Jones. Marvin, good evening.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
No worries. It's great to have you with us, Marvin. Now, growing up, you grew up in Miami, Florida. Who did you root for down there? Who were some of your favorite players as a kid?
Well, honestly, I didn't have a favorite team back then. I loved watching the Dallas Cowboys as a kid, watching the Tony Dorsett and the Robert Newhouse, the Drew Pearson guys, you know. But my favorite thing is I always liked the linebackers. So I love watching I had the New York Giants when they had the big blue wrecking crew with L.T. Reeves and Banks and those guys, you know. So I kind of had my favorite core guys. I didn't really root for a team per se. Sure,
yeah. Well, you had a good bunch, that's for sure. Now, you played for Bobby Bowden at Florida State. Talk to me a little bit about Bobby. We had Charlie Ward on the show last week, had nothing but accolades for the great Bobby Bowden. Give us your introspective.
Well, Bobby, you know, he was definitely a great coach in many ways. Just not a coach, but just as a human being and how he dealt with the recruits, the players. He, you know, was kind of that guy that, you know, especially guys that came from out of town to school, from other places. I mean, it's like you had like a second daddy almost.
Yeah.
Kind of called him. So he was just that easy, just go in his office and able to talk to him anytime. He had an open door policy. So, I mean, that was something that was, you know, definitely helped guys out. And plus, he came from a lot of the spiritual side. So, you know, and a man of faith and things like that. So he kind of instilled just not only being a good football player, but about being a good person, a good man.
Same thing Charlie Ward said. Very interesting. Now, have you met the new FSU's coach, Willie Taggart?
No, I haven't met Taggart yet. No, you know, those guys are busy up there anyway, so I'll make my way up there hopefully in the springtime.
Yeah, okay. Now, you have any aspirations to get into college football coaching, Marvin?
Well, it'll be after this year. I've been in the indoor football league.
Yeah.
This is my second year in there. Last year I was head coach up at Colorado Crush. This year I'm the head coach of Cedar Rapids Titans up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So, you know, it's something I kind of fell into, and I kind of really enjoyed it because there's a lot of guys that's trying to, you know, make it to the NFL or to the CFL, and, you know, it's a really good platform to help guys, you know, accomplish that. So, you know, I'm happy with that for this season. Probably after next year is when I would really like to get go and do some college work. I think that'll be the kind of the satisfaction I desire from coaching, and then do that for 10 years, and then I'm done.
I hear you. Sounds good, Marvin. Now, you were recognized as a consensus first-team All-American in 91 and 92, honored by the Sporting News as College Football Player of the Year. Great honor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, during that time, especially if you look at the type of players that was coming out in that time, the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, there was definitely a heck of a great group of guys that were in those groups. I mean, just looking at the teams, I mean, between us and the Hurricanes, I mean, you know, Brooks was a guy who came and played with me, and down there you had Jesse Armstead, Michael Barrow. So, I mean, just to be, you know, looking at it as one of the best at your position with the core guys, the group of guys that came out that time, is just a tremendous blessing.
I'm a fan of the Tampa Bay Bucks, Marvin. Could you tell Derrick Brooks was something special back then?
Yeah, definitely. When he came in, it was just, I mean, he just came in, and I mean, he played real hard. I mean, he just did some special things, and you know, at that time, you know, it was myself. Kirk Carruthers was still a big name, you know, back then.
Right.
And, you know, and I told my coach, I said, man, you got to get this guy on the field. I told my linebacker, I said, you got to get him on the field, man. This guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But but the thing is, like I said, he's a heck of a football player, but he's a heck of a guy too. And those type of guys you root for.
Does a lot in the community, definitely. Now, you chose to forego your remaining year in college to enter the draft.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at that point in time, I had accomplished everything I wanted. What more could I accomplish in college except a national championship? And that's kind of really for the school. Doesn't do me any good.
Yeah.
I just felt once the 92 ended, coming to a close, I had won the Buckets, won the Lombardi in the same year. And my projections were in the top 5, even from 1 to 4. So, nothing left for me to do, but to risk, injury or things like that. And, plus it was never a conversation about me returning anyway.
Yeah.
I basically said, hey, I don't know if I'm coming back. And they basically said, okay, just leave if you want to leave.
Yeah, don't let the door hit you, right?
Right. So, wasn't on that part, it wasn't a conversation. So, not that I would have did it anyway, but there was no resistance on that. So.
Sure. Well, you were inducted into the FSU Hall of Fame in 2000. Now, that's got to be a pretty good honor.
Oh, yeah, that was an awesome honor. I think what made it even more special is me and Brooks got honored on the same night. So
okay.
Yeah. So, we kind of went in together and that's an awesome thing. If you look at Florida State, we got a good history of guys that are in that Hall of Fame. A couple of them I don't know, but not this season. But it's a great group of guys. To be able, if you look even from out a history of the school and accomplishments of guys that have came out of there and have succeeded, in professional level, it's just been astronomical. So. It's a great school, great honor.
Definitely. We're speaking to the great Marvin Jones tonight on Sports Talk 1240. Now, you were selected by the Jets in the first round, Marvin. How did you feel about coming to the Big Apple?
Well, New York City, it was unbelievable. I had never seen anything like it, of course. I did attend the draft, so I got an opportunity to kind of stay down in Manhattan, and I was like, holy crap, I had never see anything like that. So, it was interesting. Never seen that many people in one place. Just the hustle and bustle and things like that. Plus, I had never lost that many games in my whole college career in my first season.
Yeah, I know. We're still going through it, Marvin.
Well, it'll get better. They're moving in the right direction.
Oh, man. I remember Joe Namath back in '69. That's how old I am, and I've been going through it ever since.
Well, it's tough. There's a lot of factors I look at that play into it. The Jets have a long history. The fans are tough, and a lot of that toughness comes from, just the history and a lot of decisions, a lot of things that happen within the organization, so that they're always on the short rope. And it's not, nobody wants to hear about rebuilding, or in New York because of the long history and how the fans are wired. So we don't get the grace periods like the Miami Dolphins or any other place because just because we're in that media capital that we're in, and people are just tough there.
Right.
But now, they're making a lot of strides this year. I like just being able to keep the stability intact. I think that's real important. I can remember my first 3 years, I had 3 head coaches.
Yeah. Right.
4 head coaches in 5 years, about 7 and 11 years. So, that's a lot of instability. And plus, it's not I think you look at a couple of factors as it relates to New York. You look at one of them would be, like I said, you got to have a stability factor is number one. Number two, it's a very tough place to play. So, guys who doesn't do outsiders or free agents, the guys that may want to play in New York, they know it's a tough place to play. So that may be a thing that kind of pushes some people away. And the third thing is, man, those damn taxes. Nobody.
Yeah.
Yes, geez.
Oh.
You come to Florida, Texas.
You're preaching to the choir. I know, Marvin. Yeah. Well, I'm telling people this year they can't even go for the number 1 draft pick right. They started out, they were supposed to win 1, 2, no games. They finish higher than that, and even the Giants beat them out for a draft pick.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you got to look at it both ways, and if the situation or the situation that took place this year had taken place last year, so if you go into last year and you gave both of those the general manager, and Bowles an extension at the same time, now you can be on the same page with the goals, but when you have a lot of time, a general manager may have a two-year plan. Todd Bowles, as a head coach, is thinking like, shit, I gotta keep my job.
Right.
So, you know, you got two different philosophies. So now that, you know, they both got an extension, I think that's something that definitely alleviates things and get things definitely in the right direction. Because now we both can look at the same goals. I know I'm going to be here for another 2 years. I know you're going to be here for another 2 years, so we got a little time. But I think that's the thing that kind of played into last season when people were going, hey, why isn't the backup quarterback that's been on the roster for 2 years that hadn't played? Because I got a veteran that we're winning some games, but I got to keep a job. So that alleviates that headache.
They're not going to go anywhere, Marvin, until they get that franchise quarterback, though.
Well, yeah.
Right?
And I think also, I mean, we still took some time to recover, too, from a lot of that stuff that, went down in the Rex Ryan era. Because when we went to all those AFC championship games, I mean,
right.
we got tired of some bad deals with guys and players that tied up a lot of money, wasn't a lot of production with that, and you suffered the years of ramifications with that, and that ultimately cost, guys like, Mike Tannenbaum, a job.
Right.
Because now you're piecing things together and you're giving out that money because you got to win. Now we're so close, and then it doesn't happen. Now you have to, you got to suffer the consequences of the salary cap. Now there's teams that are really good without doing that. That's the reason why the team that I hate, New England, is able to do what they do because they don't go out and go spend their money crazy and get tired and have to deal with the salary cap type of things, Remember the guy that first round draft choice asked for more money, got cut, shipped to Cleveland. So,
yeah.
That doesn't allow you to get in that kind of trouble. But it also helps when you're winning because guys will take a little less money to compete for a Super Bowl every year. Who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't?
So, right, that's the ultimate thing. So, there's a lot of things. Like I said, I mean, a new guy coming in has to understand the history of the team, and then that'll kind of give you insight on why the fans are the way they are. And that's why it's important to know your team history. Because, New York fans are brutal, man. I mean, I'm not saying in a bad way, but they're just brutal because, it's a New Yorker's way. And
right.
Plus,
what have you done for me lately?
Right. And plus, we're in an expensive state. We paying, we got some things that we're paying. People paying licensing fees. Paying ticket fees. And it costs a lot of money to go to football games. Especially in New York and at MetLife. So people want production. People tired of lip service. We want production. So.
Exactly. Well, we spoke about Derrick Brooks, Marvin. Talk about some memorable teammates you had while with the Jets.
Well, my most memorable teammate was Mo Lewis.
Good man, yeah.
Well, he spent 13 years. We spent 11 years together. So we were the only 1 and 2. We would always tell us, a new coach in hell, we're going to be here after you leave. That's the good thing. So, Mo was great. Brian Cox was good. One of the most guys I love playing with I don't understand why we let him go was James Farrier. I mean,
right.
Damn. I mean, that guy was great ball player. We let him get away. So I had some, I had some great teammates, but I mean, Mo was definitely the one that, because we spent, a lot of the time together. But I mean, we have some damn characters on our team. I can tell you that. And, one
they
of the
still
best,
do.
Yeah, but they want to go to the Pro Bowl with 3 wins.
How about Anderson? And he's getting arrested every season, right?
You got to stay out of Florida. I'm born and raised in Florida.
Yeah, I know those Tampa cops. Those Tampa cops used to love picking up the bucks. They used to love Strawberry, Gooden, guys like that. They love picking up the high-profile guys.
They don't care. They don't. You know what it is? It's a whole different mentality. You up in New York. You give a courtesy. You know what I mean? Cops will give you a courtesy if you act respectfully. A lot of times these guys today, they just think because I'm play football, I can say, "Do you know who I am?" That's disrespectful to the police officer. I've never done that to a cop. When I've ever been wrong with a police officer, I'm respectful. I say, "Sir, yes, sir, no, sir," and 9 out of 10 times, you going home, or hey, or something like that. But these guys now, they the damn egos get out of control, and that causes a lot of conflict. So when cops do pull a guy over, it's like, okay, well, this is so-and-so, and they expect that. Well, you know who I am? No,
right.
You know what I mean? So you just got to keep your mouth quiet and realize who you are and what you do, and understand that the NFL is, it's still alive, guys, now, but the NFL in public is getting very impatient with this stuff. Good
point, Saul, Marvin, definitely. How about some memorable moments with the Jets?
The most definitely one I always talk about was the Monday Night Miracle game in 2000. That was probably one of the best. I mean, against the Dolphins, being behind and coming back and beating their butts, which I hate them anyway.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, some good ones under Herm Edwards. I mean, going to, John Hall kicking the winning field goal to get us in the playoffs. I mean, which we had a drought. I mean, 2001 and 2002, we go to the playoffs 2 years in a row. It sure as hell wasn't the day we had Belichick for a coach for a day.
What a day that was, yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, man, in those days where if something that was going to happen, it was going to be the our team.
Yeah.
It always happened to us. And we were going to, but a lot of that has changed, but that's what happens when you have a long drought in a team that's, a lot of time, an organization that's not respected. A lot of those things happen to you, Remember that time we couldn't get a damn call back in the day But, the team now has come a long way out. Once you got Bill Parcells, man, brought some respectability back to their organization.
Right. Talk a little bit about the tuna.
Tuna, I love Bill. I think Bill was a hell of a coach. I mean, hell of a guy. I mean, he was a straightforward guy, the kind of guy that will have dinner with you tonight and cut your ass tomorrow. But, you always knew where you stood with him. And that was one of the things. But the thing is, he also had those guys around him that reinforced. I mean, Belichick on defense. I think that time we had Charlie Weiss was on offense.
Charlie Weiss, yeah.
So he had the same type of coaches that mirrored him, and very smart coaches. Al Grove, then I think his last year, well, he had GM at that time, and then when Al Grove came in, and then same type of mentality. He brought Bob Sutton in, who's the DC over at Kansas City now. He was a rookie coach with us in 2000. So, it's one of those things where you look at that coaching tree, man. You see all the guys that have come in and come behind Bill with that same type of mentality, and what these guys are out here doing is amazing. So, it just shows you the effect he has on guys and how he, it's about Bill now. You can count on that, but it's just the effect he has on guys, and he leaves his footprints on everything. So.
Sure, well-deserving Hall of Famer, definitely. We wish he would have stuck around a little longer, that's for sure. That's the only thing. Who are some of the toughest guys you had to line up across from, Marvin?
Well, I mean, in those days, oh, man, I think the whole damn Buffalo Bills line of scrimmage. No. Well, you know, I think I look at it on a whole basis. I mean, you know, coming in the early 90s, and I mean, the toughest guys we had were the quarterbacks at that time. I mean, you had Marino in Miami, Jim Kelly in Buffalo. Remember before the Colts moved conferences, so shit, you had Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think and then Drew Bledsoe was in New England, but I mean, he was so-so. But, you know, just the quarterback, just the conference, I mean, playing those guys, man. We had the AFC East was a pretty competitive conference, passing conference.
Yeah, well, Hall of Famers.
It wasn't known for running.
Right.
But passing Texas, Buffalo, Miami, Irvin, Fryer, those guys, and down here in Miami, and I mean Andre Reed up there, and then you had Thurman Thomas. And, I mean, it was damn Marvin Harrison over in. Oh man, they had some guys
loaded up.
You know, it was like I said, it wasn't the big, what he's calling the black and some good coverage guys. So, but I kind of, you know, that was always and some good coverage guys. So, but I kind of, you know, that was always the toughest guy. I mean, it was just the quarterbacks that we had to face twice a year.
Right.
8 games back then. It was 8. You know, after you know, you had 5 guys. I mean, you know, the Buffalo. I mean, the Colts in there. So. I mean, hell, you had to win those games. It was just tough getting out of the AFC East. So.
Right. Good point. How did Marvin Jones get the nickname Shade Tree?
I don't know. I think you can look that up online.
No, it doesn't have an explanation. I tried to find it. I don't know. I'm going to have to get one of these guys, get Mo Lewis or somebody on to find out, I guess, right?
You know, if you can find Mo Lewis, I'll give you $1 million.
That would be a trick in itself, right?
No, it's just basically growing up, my brother has always, you know, instilled in me to be the first person at anything that I do, always be first in line. So, I mean, it had more to do with running gases. And, we had to go over 4 times, and I ran over and back. I only thought it was over and back twice. I mean, it was over and back, but it was over back. And I ran as fast as I could, and I struck out. And I left everybody behind, ran over and back, and they was like, "Oh hell no, you gotta keep going." By that time, I was spent. Shit. I went and laid up under a tree, and my coach goes, "Hey man, we don't need no shade trees out here." And I said, "Yeah, but by the end of the year, you're gonna be calling this place Marvinsville." So long live the shade tree.
Exactly. Now, you're involved, as we said, with the indoor football. Give us a little insight into what's going on there, Marvin.
Well, last year I went in, I was the head coach of Colorado Crush. We had 10 teams. Now we're down to 8 teams this year. It's just basically now strategically placed out in the Midwest. So it's something I enjoy doing because, the league that I'm in, which is the IFL Indoor Football League, is a real good platform for guys that have, maybe played a year in the NFL or been in NFL training camps that are looking to get more tape, get another opportunity to hopefully continue on and pursue, trying to get another shot at the NFL or the CFL. So, it's a great platform, and I enjoy working with these guys, just trying to get these guys to see their dreams come true. So that's what it's kind of like what it is all about for me right now. That's where my satisfaction comes from in the coaching aspect of it. It's just helping these guys get to the next level.
Sure. Now, earlier we spoke about our mutual distaste for the New England Patriots. What did you think of that game today?
Well, it's a hard pill to swallow. I just thought Jacksonville
played a good game.
With their defense, I just didn't think that they stayed aggressive enough as they needed to. Some aspects is, I think they played too much zone defense. I think with the defensive backs they had, they should have been a lot closer on those guys. They gave some cushions to those guys.
Yeah.
And that'll kill you. You can't give up chunks and stuff like that. I get the philosophy, but whatever got you on however you played the first half, you got to continue on and build on top of that. It's not a regular season game where you're playing next week.
Right.
So I just thought they were, the defense got a lot less aggressive than it was the first half. And that's usually, you got to realize, the fourth quarter is when New England picks it up, because once Belichick get in at halftime, hell, they might have a new offense and a whole new defense by that time.
What do you think in the Super Bowl, Marvin?
What I think of it, who's going to be in it?
Yeah.
we already know.
Well, we know our boys will be in there, New England. We know that.
Oh, man, this thing is 31-0. The Philadelphia Eagles are 31-0 fourth quarter. I mean, it's
there we go.
Decided.
Yeah, so you think New England will win it all again?
I don't know. Philadelphia looks pretty tough. I like them. I like Foles. I think, hell, Foles is probably playing the best game of his career today. And they just scored again. That was 38-7.
Oh, man. Yeah. I got to get home and watch it.
I think if Foles continue to play, I mean, he's had an amazing day. So if Foles continue to play today like he did today, I mean, it's going to be out of this world.
That'll be a good one, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game, but it's still going to be, at this point of the year, I like what they're doing, being able to put up as many points as they can, because that's what they're going to need to beat New England, because New England's going to score points. Yeah.
All right, Marvin Jones, it's been a pleasure having you with us tonight. I thank you for taking time out of your Sunday night to spend it with your boys up in New York.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Keep the cold weather up there with you guys.
We will, Marvin. You take care.
All right, have a great night.
You too. Marvin Jones, folks. That'll do it for me tonight on Sports Talk 1240. I'd like to thank my guests, Tom Gamboa and Marvin Jones.